So ang first topic po natin for today in this forum is general or cybersecurity, digital security in general. And we're going to look especially after that yung gender dimensions nung usapin na ito. So ang tinitle po natin dito is nilagdagan ko na siya ng personal. Kasi yung digital security sobrang lawak niya. It encompasses even organizations and technical sides like yung mga gumagawa ng applications na ginagamit natin. But I want us to focus today yung personal level sa atin bilang individual na tao. So, yung focus na yon is how do we stay safe online. So, gusto ko po yun ang i-focus natin habang nakikinig kayo sa talk na ito. Yan. So, brief, nabanggit na rin naman. So, I am a software developer and cybersecurity specialist, and also a member of ISC2 and certified in cybersecurity. Next po. Okay, so as I was saying kanina, ito po yung magiging agenda natin for today. First, yung digital landscape and how it relates po sa inyo, to you, sa bawat isa sa atin. Pangalawa and pangatlo, medyo related, is what are yung mga digital or cyber threats and how do we stay safe online to combat those threats. And lastly, yung gender dimensions ng mga lahat ng ito. So, digital landscape and you. So, mahalaga na part dyan is how it relates to you. So, in discussing the digital landscape, we have to first understand yung ano ba yung digital. Katulad nga na nabanggit po, the National ICT Month ngayong June, and ang naging theme is Bayang Digital, ang Bagong Pilipinas. So, ang focus, kitang-kita doon, ang focus is yung digital na part. So, what is digital? So, ang analog po, before tayo naging digital, ang society ay analog. And that is basically how we present yung information. And analog is continuous na flow ng mga information. So, pwede nyo isipin yung mga waves, like mga radio, or yung kung naalala nyo pa yung mga disc kung saan nagpapatugtog po tayo, yung mga vinyl players or cassettes. So, continuous yung flow ng information. But now, we are now in the digital age. And digital age is yung discrete information wherein yung mga bagay-bagay ay nire-represent using zeros and ones, and doon na po yung computers. And just a short history, tignan lang po natin. So, ancient civilization, nandiyan po alam natin yung mga handwriting, so analog pa yan. And then nagkaroon ng printing press, postal systems, 1400s. Then nagkaroon ng telephone, 1800s. And then more recently, 1900s na, nandiyan na yung radio, television, yung fax machines. And then we are now in the current era, kung saan nandiyan po yung internet, nandiyan yung emails. And 2000s, nandiyan social media platforms, and now, 2010s and onward, nandiyan na yung mga video conferencing tools like Zoom, which is ginagamit natin ngayon, which is 20 years ago, unthinkable na kayang gawin yung ganitong pag-meeting through long distances na real time. So, sino pong nakaka-recognize ng mga icon na ito? Yan. So, I believe naman po lahat. And if you're using one of these technologies, at least one, kahit isa lang dyan, you will reap the benefits of the digital age, which is the internet. Because the internet holds all of these things together. Nagpa-function lang yung mga yan dahil sa internet. And then next slide. So, wag niyo pong i-scan to. This is just to illustrate itong QR code na to. Kung sinabi ko sa inyo na i-scan ko to ngayon, most likely sinunod niyo, di ba? Pero yung kung pupuntahan lang yan is Rickroll, yung kanta ni Rick Astley na Never Gonna Give You Up. Pero pwede ko sabihin na ito po survey, puntahan nyo po para sa seminar na ito. And that is to illustrate ano po yung greatest vulnerability sa digital security. It is the human factor. Yung pagtitiwala po natin, yung trust. And bakit po kayo nagtiwala sa akin kung sinabi ko na iscan nyo to? Kasi yung intro ko, I am a cybersecurity specialist. I am developer dito sa UPOU. All those things to establish my credibility. And attackers or malicious actors, mga hackers, yun din yung gagamitin nila to exploit yung human tendencies. And we'll get into that more later on po. So, ito, Facebook users by country. Just as a quick illustration. So, based po sa data reportal na organization, ang Philippines po ay pang-anim na pinakamaraming users by country. And nakalagay po dyan 87.7 million, pero ang population po natin ay approximately 115 million. So almost everyone is using Facebook. So that is why yung digital security, hindi na po natin may iwasan yan kasi lahat tayo sa Pilipinas digital na, virtually. And then, so nanguna po ang Philippines, age 16, so mga kabataan up to 64, which is yung mga, katulad na sinabi po kanina, sa ageism, yung mga older people na probably more vulnerable, susceptible to digital threats, gumagamit ng internet to watch vlogs each week. And alam naman po natin na vlogs is a very strong or effective way to disseminate information. And yung information na yun, hindi tayo sigurado kung tama, kung totoo, kung kapanipaniwala. And alam naman po natin, naririnig natin over the past years na isa pong weakness ng Pilipino is fake news. This is why it is very dangerous po na nanguna ang Pilipinas, pero mahina tayo sa critical thinking. Same lang din yan. Daily time spent using the internet, Philippines third at 9 hours, 14 minutes per day. Per day po yan. So 24 hours per day, yung 8 hours, assume mo na natulog ka. So 9 hours out of 16 hours, nasa internet ang mga Pilipino. So yun lang ang ginagawa natin. Lagi lang tayong nasa Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, ganun. So what does it mean for us po ngayon, yung mga sinasabi kong ito? So, yan yung nilagay ko dyan, yung 6 na mga naisip ko na keywords, how it relates to us. Una, privacy and security. So, yung mga nakita natin yun, syempre iisipin natin, paano na ngayon yung privacy ko, paano yung security ko? Pangalawa, data. Napakahalaga po ng data sa digital when we talk about digital and cybersecurity. Then applications and services, since yan yung ginagamit natin, especially social media, online shopping, transactions, and lastly, naapektuhan din ng digital landscape, nasi-shape nito yung society and culture natin. And all of this po is what we call information. Yung lahat na nabanggit ko na yun, information. Because information po is the major currency, pinakamahalagang bagay sa internet. And moreover, when you talk about information, kung paano nila mako-convert yung information papuntang pera, 99% of the time. Yan ang mahalaga. Siyempre, merong 1% that is everything else. For example, concerned sila sa gusto lang nilang retaliate like violence. It could be state actions like bansa gagawa ng digital or cyber attack against another state, another country. But most of the time, it is all about money, kung bakit magkakaroon ng cyber attack. So you have to think about that, yung information mo, and then how it relates to how these people can make money. And this is just to illustrate kung bakit, or rather, na sobrang halaga ng information sa mga cyber criminals. Like, for example, this one, noong April 2021, nagkaroon ng leak ang Facebook. Hindi naman lahat, so, and I think hindi apektado yung Philippine users, but na-expose yung phone numbers, locations, and birth dates ng Facebook users from 2018 to 2019. And nagkaroon ng fine ng Meta, yung company, ng $276 million. So bakit sila ifa-fine? Ano lang naman yun, phone numbers lang naman yun, or birthdays. So yun kasi yung kaisipan malimit ng tao is, data ko lang naman yun, hindi naman yun pera, kahit okay lang mawala sa akin yan. Okay lang na malaman kung location ko, yung address ko, walang mawawala. But for example, isang biggest danger dyan is identity theft. Kung alam na ng ibang tao, yung birthday mo, address mo, middle name mo, lahat-lahat, most likely makakapag-commit sila ng what we call identity theft. mag-open ng bank accounts in your name, gamitin yung credit card mo, all these things. Kasi nakuha na nila yung identity mo. Which is why we say information is power, information is money. So ito po yung isang visualization, yung pinakita ko rin sa inyo kanina, trust. So yung nasa ilalim, nagtitiwala siya na sasaluhin siya nung nasa, di sasaluhin, but rather, aabutin siya nung nasa taas. Kasi kung hindi gagawin yun, baka malaglag siya. And that is, again, one of the most crucial things sa digital security. I want us to think about trust, yung i-discuss natin. So according to Merriam-Webster Dictionary, ito po yung definition niya, assured reliance on the character, ability, strength, or truth of someone or something. And if si-synthesize po natin yung 4 na keywords na yan, pwede po nating sabihin na ang trust, meron 3 C. The character, the competence, and the correctness of something or someone. So sa character, ito yung foundation ng trust. Kasi kahit pa anong competence niyan or kahit pa anong totoo yung sinasabi niyan, kung hindi maganda yung character, kung galit ka sa kanya, hindi mo siya, tingin mo, nagsisinungaling siya, kahit pa totoo yung sinasabi niya, hindi mo siya pinagtitiwalaan niya kasi usually nagsisinungaling siya. Walang kwenta yung competence and correctness. So character is the foundation of trust. It's about believing someone is honest, ethical, dependable, and will act with integrity. So this is about someone's credibility. And then competence, nandiyan yung ability and strength. And then correctness is relying on evidence and verification processes. So mahalaga po yung dalawang yun. Yung evidence, and then i-verify natin based dun sa evidences na yun. To make informed judgments whether pagtitiwalaan natin yung isang tao or hindi. So sinabi ko din dyan, character and competence must always be verified by its correctness. Kasi, katulad po ng ginawa ko kanina, in-establish ko yung character ko and in-establish ko yung competence ko by saying yung mga credentials ko, pero yung correctness ko, wala. Kasi yung QR code na binigay ko, hindi siya totoong survey. So always verify kahit may character or competence kasi yun yung ginagamit ng mga attackers para maloko po tayo. They would post themselves as bangko mo na we're calling from BDO, pero hindi talaga sila taga BDO. So, some key terms po na kailangan maintindihan natin when it comes to digital security. Una, asset. So, bago tayo mag-secure ng isang bagay, kailangan muna nating alamin ano yung isi-secure natin. Ano ba yung mahalaga sa atin, basically. Yan yung asset. Yung valuable resource for us as an individual. This can be tangible, for example, yun nga, devices, money, bahay mo, yung damit mo, yung aso mo, yung pusa mo, or intangible, data, intellectual property, yung thesis mo, yung birthday mo, yung address mo. So, once you have figured out ano yung mga assets mo, nalista mo na, then you think about the threat actors. Ano yung mga possible na entity na mag-harm dun sa asset ko? So, let's say yung asset mo na nilista is pera. Siyempre, yung unang papasok sa isip mo, magnanakaw. Pero pwede rin sunog. Baka masunog yung bahay, sunog din yung pera mo kung wala sa bangko. So, that is threat actors. Yung mga magnanakaw, mga natural disasters, all of these things. And then threat, the actual harmful action being taken by that threat actor. So whenever po dinidiscuss ko, meron akong talk sa cybersecurity, I use yung illustration na isang bahay. You can think of cybersecurity as isang bahay. So yung asset mo, yung bahay, threat actor, magnanakaw, ang threat, yung manakawan ka. Yung actual na action. Vulnerability, a weakness or flaw. So, kung ang threat actor magnanakaw, ang threat ay pagnanakaw, ang vulnerability, pwedeng wala kang lock sa bahay, or sira yung bintana mo. Or kung ang threat mo naman ay sunog, ang vulnerability mo is yung bahay mo ay kahoy. So mas vulnerable siya sa sunog compared kung other materials yung gagamitin. And then risk, yung likelihood na ma-realize yung threat. And then, ito mahalaga itong last, acceptable risk. a level of risk that an organization or individual is willing to tolerate. Kasi po, sa buhay, hindi po natin maaalis yung risk. But you have to decide ano yung acceptable risk para sa'yo dun sa asset mo. So for example, yun nga, sa pera, ano yung ibabalance mo kung gusto mong nasa wallet mo siya, nasa bahay mo siya, or ilalagay mo siya sa bangko, or i-invest mo siya. Nakita yung financial advice. Kasi pag nasa bangko, mas safe siya, pero mas maliit yung kita. Pero pag in-invest mo, mas possible na malaki yung kita, pero possible na mawala rin. So you have to balance ano yung acceptable para sa'yo na risk. But either way, ano man yung gawin mo dun sa apat na options na yon, meron kang risk. Hindi mo maaalis yun. And then last, I think ito yung last important na term, is yung personally identifiable information or tinatawag natin na PII. So ayan na po yung information that can uniquely pinpoint a person, yung pangalan mo, yung SSS mo, national ID number mo, passport number mo, driver's license, all of these things, direct siya, but also indirect identifiers. For example, sinabi dyan, date of birth, so marami namang may birthday today, pero possible na kung nakakonect siya sa isang organization, kunyari, ang alam mo lang birthday, mahirap maka-identify ng tao, di ba? Kasi ang dami. Pero kung birthday plus organization, taga-UPOU, so mas madali na. Sino yung may taga-UPOU na may birthday ng gantong araw? Mas madali na. Tapos may isa ka pang identifier na indirect, dito nakatira. Tapos, ano pa dyan? Ito yung email address. So using those 4 indirect identifiers, makakombine mo to figure out sino yung target. Which is why even indirect identifiers ay mahalaga po na ingatan natin. And ang lagi ko po naisip sa PII na ito is yung mga pinopost po natin sa social media. So, malala po natin Facebook gamit na gamit ng Pilipino. Mahilig mag-share ng photos. Tapos, kita yung background. So, matatrack na, lagi kang nasa Starbucks, lagi kang nasa McDo, lagi kang nandito sa lugar na to. Tapos, McDo ng ano yun ng Los Baños. Tapos yung McDo ng Calamba. So most likely taga-Laguna tong taong to. So those things, yung mga pinopost po natin, indirect identifiers, kailangan po nating ingatan. Yung PII natin. Yan, multi-factor authentication. So ito po yung to secure ourselves online, digitally. Ito po yung mahalaga na i-implement natin sa mga interactions natin with applications, websites, yung multi-factor. So, andyan po yung definition niya. But basically, mahalaga po dyan, yung next slide, yung 3 factors ng authentication. First, yung something you know. Second, something you have. And third, something you are. So, ito po yung ginagamit natin as a society to authenticate someone, to prove na ako yung sinasabi kong ako. And actually, yung dalawa dyan, ginagamit nyo na whether you realize it or not. For example, kung meron kayong ATM, bank account, gumagamit na kayo ng MFA, multi-factor authentication. Kasi, una, meron kayong PIN. Pangalawa, something you have, meron kayo nung card mismo. So kahit alam ng tao yung PIN mo, as long as di nila makuha yung card, hindi sila makakapag-withdraw. Or the reverse, kahit nasa kanila yung card mo, as long as hindi nila alam yung PIN mo, hindi pa rin sila makakapag-withdraw kasi hindi nila ma-authenticate using 2 factors of authentication. Which is why, kailangan po na i-implement natin to sa mga ginagamit natin na bagay sa internet. For example, yung accounts natin, kung password lang yung pang-login mo, most likely hindi secure yun, so humanap ka ng paraan para mas ma-secure pa yung account na yun. And usually, in the case of social media, ang ginagamit po dito is yung phone numbers na magpapadala ng code bago ka makalogin. Ayan. So, andyan na po yung na-establish natin yung context. Tingin po tayo sa cyber threats. So, ito po yung 3 most common digital security threats or cyber attacks. So, una, social engineering. Pangalawa, malware and hacking. And yung malware and hacking, usually po, yun yung naiisip natin kapag sinabi na security when it comes to internet na baka ma-hack yung account ko, baka ma-virus yung phone ko or laptop ko. Yun yung lagi nating iniisip. But actually, hindi na masyadong ginagamit yan kasi sobrang secure as long as official yung mga ginagamit mo. Like, nagda-download ka ng official na software, hindi ka nagda-download ng torrent, ng mga pirated na movies, or, tawag dito, hindi ka gumagamit ka ng Gmail instead of other email providers. Yung mga gantong reputable companies, malakas na yung security nila. So, ang hirap na i-hack directly. So, ang ginagamit na usually is yung una, social engineering, which is yung ginawa ko rin sa inyo kanina. You look at human tendencies and try to manipulate those tendencies. And yun po yung ginagamit sa tinatawag natin na phishing and scams. So yan, kinombine ko po yung dalawa, yung malware and hacking. So yun po yung application-based attacks. And then yung social engineering, yung human-based attacks. So, balik po tayo sa bahay. Yung application-based attack is binubuksan yung pinto, either naglalak-picking, and then sa human-based attacks naman, hindi na nila kailangang sirain yung pinto mo or mag-break-in, hihingi na lang nila yung susi sa'yo, tapos ibibigay mo. Yan, play nyo po yung video kung kaya. 20 seconds lang.
Oh my God, what is that?
Yan po, yung lalaki, tinuturo niya yung taas, pero wala naman talagang nangyari doon. Pero yung mga tao, tumitingin din, akala nila meron. So that po is social engineering. Next po tayo. And that is yung pretexting. So bibilisan ko na lang po. Pretexting is yung fabricated na scenario. Basically, ano yung kwento na ginagamit nila para ma-manipulate ka. So ito po yung mga usual na pretext or kwento na ginagamit recently, especially sa Pilipinas. Una, gift card scams na usually sa text ito or sa email, but usually talaga sa text kasi bihira naman actually tayo mag-email other than for work. So mas vulnerable tayo sa mobile messages and binibigyan ka ng link or hinihingi ka ng contact details or in some cases, mag-register ka sa ganito. So gift card, meron ka makukuhang libre. And then pangalawa, internet service provider ploys or actually any company na ginagamit mo or rather service na ginagamit mo from a company, they would try to use that. For example, PLDT or Globe, yung subscription mo sa Globe, kailangan mong i-renew, may nagka-problema. So, mga fake schemes to impersonate yung mga services na ginagamit mo. Family scams. I'm sure lahat po tayo either naka-experience na nito or may narinig na sa circle of friends or family natin na nangyari ito. Family scams na urgent requests from a family member, relative, to wire money, magpadala ng pera, or something na kailangan, gagawa sila ng kwento na disgrasya, or na nahuli sa airport, hindi sila makalabas, kailangan nila ng pang-bail. Any of these things, using family or relatives to create yung pretense nila. And then, ito po, romance scams, which we'll delve more into this later sa gender dimensions na when scammers trick you with a fake online identity and then magkakaroon kayo ng relationship and then gagamitin yung relationship na yun to get something from you, usually pera. And then GCash scams and other online payment scams and ayan, so gamit na gamit din po yan sa Pilipinas. So phishing, ito po yung sa emails, smishing, SMS, vishing, gamit yung calls. So I think marami rin po nangyari ngayon na tumatawag and then magpe-pretend or impersonate isang celebrity or even organization to get something from you. So sabihin nila na, yun nga, katulad nung example ko kanina, kami yung taga-BDO, yung account mo, ganto-ganto, may problema. Can you give us your birth date to verify na ikaw nga ito, ganto. So hinihingi na nila yung information mo. So how do we mitigate yung phishing, either email, SMS, or calls? So una, verify yung identity nila. Check mo yung email address for any misspellings or unusual characters. And usually, very tricky yung ginagawa nila. For example, BDO, pero yung kanila, BDDO. So kung maduduling ka, akala mo BDO at parang yung email nila at bdo.ph, pero actually BDDO na siya. So be very careful sa mga source, either ng SMS or emails. And then beware of generic greetings and statements na sobrang parang ano siya, group message na tinarget niya is general audience. And then beware if the message elicits strong emotions such as urgency or fear. Usually ito po yung ginagamit sa social engineering, yung emotion natin, either takot or libre. So, kailangan mong bilhin kaagad. Be suspicious of unexpected attachments or links. So ito po yun, yung generic. So sabi dyan, dear employee, hindi pa natanggal yung yung employee hindi pa napalitan ng actual na pangalan. And then, please sign your name. So, ganyan-ganyan. So, sobrang generic niya. Ito naman, sobrang specific na nag-i-impersonate ng LinkedIn. So, kung familiar po kayo sa LinkedIn, gumagamit kayo, katulad yung email. Pero, ang red flag po dyan is yung sender. So, mapapansin nyo, www.14255u.sakura.ne.jp. So, bakit hindi LinkedIn yung sender? Kung LinkedIn yung content niya. Yan. Mga nare-receive po natin na text, usually ganyan. Maraming typo, tapos may mga link, tapos may mga price, yung mga terms na ginagamit lagi. Price, claim mo na to, visit this link. So, yan po yung smishing. Next slide. Ito yung pretext naman sa family, katulad na banggit kanina. Meron na hospital daw na kaibigan, blah, blah, blah. Next slide. Play po natin to.
Want to get blessed?
What?
I'm giving $500 away to a few lucky people.
Who are you?
I'm just a good person giving back to his community. Send me $20 to unlock your blessing.
No.
Prayer hands emoji.
Don't fall for giveaway scams online. If it's weird for real, it's weird for real.
Yan po. So, smishing po. Ingat po tayo sa mga, katulad ng nabanggit ko, mga pretext, mga kwento na ginagamit nila for us to buy in dun sa gusto nilang gawin natin. And ito po, personally na-experience ko to. Sa Facebook po, yung mga ads, mga sponsored na ads sa feed natin, marami po yan. Karamihan po doon, mga fake, na mga scam. Katulad po nito, na yun, gumamit silang pretext, na meron silang apology, kasi nagkamali sila. Tapos, they elicit strong emotions na maawa ka, and also, yung urgency, na dati 10K, ngayon 2K na lang. So, sobrang laking discount. So, andun yung strong emotions na kailangan makuha to kasi ang laki nung savings. Pero, pag pinuntahan nyo po yung website, pakita nyo po yung mga next slides. Na, ayan. Yan, may countdown pa. So, mapipilitan ka talaga kasi 30 minutes na lang mawawala na yung offer. Tapos, hihingiin na yung name mo, name, phone number, and then yung credit card details mo. So, kapag binigay mo na lahat, magamit na nila yung information mo to impersonate you. And actually, most likely, kinabukasan, ubos na yung pera mo sa bangko kapag ginawa mo to. So, mag-ingat po tayo sa mga ads sa Facebook. Yan po yung gamit na gamit dito sa Pilipinas. Since, katulad nga ng pinakita ko po, virtually everyone gumagamit ng Facebook. So, kapag nag-put sila ng ads sa Facebook for phishing to scam you, yes, at least, kahit 1,000 tao lang yung mas-scam mo, ang dami mo ng pera mo kuha. Out of 87 million, kahit 1,000 lang yung mas-scam mo. Next. Saka makikita nyo po sobrang parang hindi professional yung website, di ba? Hindi siya maganda tignan. Tapos yan, yun, 80% off. Saan ka po makakita? If it's too good to be true, katulad po sabi kanina, if it's too weird, then it is too weird. In the same way, if it is too good to be true, then it is most likely too good to be true. Kasi yun po yung gagamitin nila to scam you. So, yan, basically yung point lang po dito, malware or yung viruses na alam natin, meron din siyang dalawang type na maapektuhan yung phone natin or laptops natin. So there is spyware or ransomware. So sa spyware, based on the name itself na rin po, meron kang spy dun sa device mo. And ito po yung usually kinakatakutan natin, yung tinatakpan natin yung camera ng laptop, and possible na makuha rin ito yung tinatawag na keylogger. Lahat ng tinatype mo sa phones mo or sa laptop mo is matatrack nila. And then yung ransomware naman, kapag na-infect yung laptop or phone mo, is ilalak nila na hindi mo na mabubuksan yung phone mo. And then they will give out a ransom. Bigyan mo kami ng $500, ibabalik namin yung phone mo. That is why it is called ransomware. So they take your data hostage. So imagine niyo po kung gaano ka-importante yung phone nyo ngayon. Na-connect dun lahat. Social media accounts nyo, yung mga bank accounts nyo, yung online shopping nyo. So kung malaki yung phone mo, tapos hihingian ka ng $500, wala kang choice. Kasi pag wala kang backup ng data mo, nawala na yung phone mo, paano babawiin lahat yon? Tapos binigyan mo siya ng $500, wala kang kasiguraduhan na ibabalik talaga nila sa iyo yung access mo dun sa phone or laptop mo. Which is why ransomware po is napaka-delikado. So how do we mitigate? Paano natin may iwasan? Kung sobrang delikado ng malware, especially ransomware, paano natin siya mamimitigate? So unang-una, update your phones and laptops. And another additional point dyan is gumamit po tayo ng mga respectable na devices. Kasi marami po yung mga counterfeit, mas mura siya. Kasi po mga Pilipino mahilig sa ganun eh. Basta mas mura, yun na lang yung kukunin. Hindi inisip yung quality. So, that is why get yung mga quality na devices, update your phones, and then, pangalawa, yung defense in-depth strategy, install antiviruses, and in the case po ng laptops natin, kung naka-Windows kayo, i-enable nyo yung Windows Defender. And then, lastly, use and enable MFA. So ito pong topic na to, sobrang lawak niya and hindi po natin madidiscuss ngayon. But ang gusto ko lang sabihin is we need to educate ourselves on these technical things. And alam ko mahirap siya and marami kang kailangan matutunan. But this is the first step po na kailangan natin gawin to secure yung digital life natin. Dahil katulad po na nabanggit, we are in a digital age. Lahat ng ginagawa po natin ay digital. So we need to learn. So kung before po, kailangan natin matuto paano mag-operate ng telephone kasi yun yung ginagamit natin na sa society. But now, phase out na yung ganong skills, we have to learn new skills. And that skill is how do we secure yung phones and laptops natin. Yan, more tips po, be wary of phishing links and attachments. So wag po tayong pupunta ng mga kahit ano, basta-basta sa mga links or mag-download kung galing siya sa hindi mga official na sources or websites. Yan, apply smart downloading practices. So dun lang tayo sa mga official na sources. And ito po, very common din po to sa Pilipinas, at least from my experience, sa circle ko po, yung mga free software or files. So beware po tayo doon na yung magda-download tayo ng mga pirated na mga bagay para lang makatipid. Kasi magtitipid ka, for example, Adobe Photoshop, or mag-video editing ka, magda-download ka ng pirated na version, makatipid ka ng $50, kaso na-infect yung laptop mo, nawala lahat ng access mo, nawalan ka ng milyon-milyon. So nagtipid ka pa ng $50. Pero nawala yung buong information mo dahil sa ransomware kasi na-infect ka na. So wag na po tayong maging cheap, pay for the things that we are using. Kasi po, dun po, yun po yung ginagamit lagi for malware, infection, or virus is yung mga free giveaways na pag dinownload mo na, in-install mo na sa device mo, infected ka na. And in the case po ng ransomware, make sure you have backups. So mga phones po natin, may backups. Kung iPhone user ka, meron siyang iCloud, andun lahat ng photos mo, yung mga documents mo, and all these things. And then, educate yourselves po kung paano mag-backup ng computers, laptops, and also kung Android users ka, maraming options dyan. Kasi po, yun nga, pag na-lock yung access nyo, hindi nyo na kailangan bayaran. Meron kayong backup, babawiin nyo na lang. So ito po yung mahalaga when we talk about staying safe online is always think. Critical thinking. Think before you trust. And then yung trust, ano yung iisipin mo? Yung tinignan natin kanina, yung thesis of trust. Yung character, competence, and then kung tingin natin reputable yung tao, tapos meron siyang ability, always yung pangatlo, yung correctness. Verify kung totoo yung sinasabi niya. So kahit pa ako yung magsabi sa inyo na puntahan yung link na ito, i-verify nyo muna kung yung link na yon ay totoong website or something bago nyo sundin. Yan, mga tips na lang yan. Use private or incognito mode while browsing, although medyo outdated na yan. Kasi this one I took from ISC2, which is yung Organization of Cybersecurity Professionals internationally. Ito yung mga tips na binigay nila. And then, pangalawa, use well-known browsers such as Chrome or Edge. So related to this sa sinabi ko kanina, use quality devices or applications. Yung mga trusted lang. Kasi yung mga ganito, may silang built-in security. Hindi na natin kailangan pag-isipan pa. Sila na mismo yung gagawa para sa atin. Yun, yung last, mahalaga rin yan. Choose carefully who you friend, ina-add mo as friend, and kahit friend mo na, yung pag-limit mo nung access nila sa mga binibigay mo. And more importantly, limit yung sinishare mo online. Yan, think before you publish. Ask yourself, would my relatives or employers think this is appropriate? So, yung mga ganyang questions, kailangan po lagi nating iniisip before we do something. Could this get me in trouble? Could someone be hurt or embarrassed by this content? Which is related po sa topic ng cyberbullying, online harassment. Yung, meron pa sa next, yung know the signs of online grooming, which is, nandito andyan na yung dimensions ng both ng age and gender, na kapag bata, vulnerable to certain types of scams and exploits, and sabi nga dyan, grooming and sextortion. So, kapag may nakita po kayong ganon or na-experience, report sa mga authorities. Yung cyber tip line kasi sa US yan, but sa atin, meron tayo yung DICT, yung DOJ, and other organizations. I'm sure yung pong gender office ng UPO, yung mas may alam dyan. Yan. Lastly, yung data privacy. Yan. Compartmentalize po tayo na make sure na yung mga pinuput out natin na data online is nalilimit po natin kung sino yung may access. Doon lang sa mga groups of people na pinagtitiwalaan natin or rather, sila lang dapat yung makakita ng ganong information. So, find the balance between privacy and convenience or kung ano yung gusto mong gawin. And then, know your assets and acceptable risk. Ito po yung, as we end yung talk, balik po tayo sa point na yun na alamin mo kung ano yung mahalaga sa'yo, yung assets mo, and then alamin mo yung threats dun sa asset na yun, yung mga diniscuss natin, whether it is phishing, yung malware, all these things, and then determine ano yung acceptable risk. For example, yung mga Google search natin, natatrack yan ng Google. So, pero nagagamit yon para ma-personalize yung mga ads na nakikita mo sa social media. So, kung sa'yo acceptable na alam ng Google yung mga ganong data about you, edi on mo kasi mas maging convenient yung shopping mo. Pero kung ayaw mong malaman ng Google, i-turn off mo. So, this is a very personal decision and I cannot decide po para sa ating lahat. But, ang mahalaga is, know your assets, know the threats, and then determine your acceptable risk. If it is important to you, then protect it. And then lastly, treat everything you do online as permanent. So, kahit yung mga pinost nyo noong 2010, nandiyan pa rin yan sa internet. Kahit i-delete nyo, nandiyan pa rin yan. So, always be very careful. Think before you trust. Yan. Educate yourself and your loved ones. Maganda pong point yan kasi no matter, for example po, lahat po tayo dito na nasa forum, naging na po tayong digitally secure, pero yung tito po natin, may nag-approach, ay ako po yung kaklase nung pamangkin nyo nung high school. Pwede ko po, hindi ko po siya makontak, nakalimutan ko yung number, pwede ko po malaman yung address, pero nagpapanggap lang na kaklase mo. So yung tito mo, since hindi educated on this topic, ibibigay niya. And then, nakabuild na ng profile mo yung scammer and nagamit na yung identity mo for either for scamming you or for doing something in your name. So, educate yourself and your loved ones about yung latest threats, yung pretext na diniscuss natin kanina, and mga tactics. Next slide. Update your phones, think before you download, secure your Wi-Fi and devices. So, ayan. Ayan. Think ahead and back up your data. Next. Ayan. Always apply po yung thesis when we try to recognize kung may nangyaring cyber attacks. So, is this person or entity of good character? Is this action or statement consistent with the person? Next slide. Is this deal too good to be true? Yan, mga ano lang po yan. Mga questions on how we can recognize cyber attacks. Yan, mahalaga po yung last point. Turn on notifications, especially for your bank accounts and GCash, like GCash po, na kapag may nangyaring transaction, may marireceive tayong text. Napaka-importante po ng mga ganyan para matrack natin kung na-compromise na yung accounts natin. And that applies to everything, even your emails, your social media accounts. And be on the lookout for unexplained actions, like may nag-login galing sa Japan or sa China and dito ka sa Pilipinas. Mga ganon. So, yeah. Next slide po. Punta na po tayo dun sa gender dimensions. Yan. So, ito po yung tatlong nakita ko na major categories ng digital security when it comes to, or rather, gender dimensions when it comes to digital security. So una, privacy concerns and data breaches. Pangalawa, cyberbullying, harassment, and then kakabit din yan yung mental health. And then third, reinforcing gender norms. So doon man tayo sa pangatlo, yung reinforcing gender norms, masasabi po natin na yung internet, one of the dangers, it is a double-edged sword. Advantage ng internet is andun yung sharing of information, but the disadvantage is yung interactions natin sa social media. This can reinforce so many things including gender norms. Na kung yung group of people na ganito, laging yun yung ginagawa nila, na-influence yung algorithm ng computer, and yun din yung ibabalik ng computer pabalik sa society. So this can reinforce, for example, na ang babae ay sa kitchen lang. Kasi dun dun may interaction yung mga users. And then yung mga bagong users, hindi na makikita nila. So it is a cycle na nare-reinforce yung mga gender norms. That is why how we interact po with the internet is very important, and we need to educate yung other users regarding this. Now, back yun sa privacy concerns and data breaches. Next slide po tayo. Meron po akong nilagay na example dyan. So, women are disproportionately targeted by privacy and data breaches such as stalking and doxing. So, ang doxing po is yung release ng information, private information ng isang tao sa online. So, nangyari po ito, for example, sa mga streamers or sa comment section ng social media na yun nga, i-release yung information mo. Like yung address mo. And in some cases, yun nga, na-expose yung mga babae sa stalking and harassment. And then, andyan din syempre yung mga applications na in-install sa phone na nagtatrack ng GPS and location. This can be misused by stalkers, by hackers, or even abusive partners. Lalo na kung ma-infect yung phone mo, tapos syempre Google Maps naka-install, pag na-infect na yung phone mo, makikita na yung location mo kahit saan ka pumunta na hindi mo alam. And then, men might be less concerned about privacy settings or readily share personal information, potentially increasing their risk to threats such as data breaches or even physical retaliation. So, isa pong common na makikita natin sa mga lalaki is mahilig magyabang online. So, when they put out all this information, mas vulnerable sila sa data breaches kasi mas madaling makabuild ng profile kung sino sila at ano yung mga gusto nila, mga ginagawa nila. And there's this story na isang pop idol sa Japan, dyan po yung article, nilagay ko sa baba, yung source, na nagamit yung reflection ng mata niya sa mga selfies niya and streams niya, katulad po ng picture na yan, nakita yung reflection, pinag-aralan 4 months, and I think a year, nalaman kung saan siya nakatira based sa reflection ng mata niya. And kung saan train station siya usually sumasakay, then inabangan siya doon. So that is yung privacy concern po ng mga pinopost natin online. And another is yung fingerprint. So yung mga pictures po natin, usually mga babae, mahilig mag-V-sign. Pag zoom in po yung picture nyo, tapos naka-HD, makukuha na yung fingerprint nyo. Which is why, sa cybersecurity po, hindi na kina-consider yung biometrics as strong factor of authentication. Kasi yung fingerprint, yung retina scan, all these things, madaling gayahin through pictures and videos. Na po, di ba yung AI? Tapos tayo, ang hilig pa natin gumamit ng mga filters na application, di ba? So yung pictures natin napapadala sa China or whatever company, and then nabibuild na yung profile natin, ano yung fingerprint natin, yung kulay ng mata natin, all these things. Yan. Katulad sinabi ko kanina, both men and women are likely to be targeted by online romance scams. So it could lead to financial scams, exploitation, or even human trafficking. And women are more likely to be victims of sextortion, especially yung pag-release ng mga private photos kapag sinend na. So magpapanggap na karelasyon mo online, tapos kapag sinend mo na yung picture sa ina-assume mo na lalaki na kapartner mo, yun na magra-ransom na. Kapag hindi mo ako binigyan ng ganun na pera, i-release ko yung video mo or yung picture mo. Mga ganun. Then I think for men and children, yung mga targeted na exploit or scams, like yung mga gamers, which is majority lalaki, and then yung mga financial na mga scamming, and then gambling, other gender-oriented na products, binebenta. So kapag alam na mahilig ka sa gantong product, ay tatargetin ka ng ganong scam. Kaya minsan yung mga applications hindi na hinihingi yung gender actually. Kasi pag na-breach yung database nila, makuha yung gender ng mga users, pwedeng ibenta yon and then makakasuhan sila. So some closing thoughts po, yung cyber safety should be taught institutionally like yung GMRC po natin. I believe na mahalagang it is what we call yung mga new and modern skills na kailangan matutunan ng bawat isa, from young people to adults to elderly. Kasi yun nga, katulad before, tinuturo lang sa atin, kapag magkocross ka ng road or ng railroad, mga tren, yung stop, look, and listen, those skills were needed before. But now, we need skills in how do we navigate to the digital world, the internet. So I believe, yun nga po, katulad po ng GMRC na itinuturo sa school, cybersecurity should also be taught. And yung mga discussions na ganito, across all age groups and across genders, mahalaga rin po yan. Next slide. And lastly, ito po yung to summarize. How do we mitigate yung cyber threats? Siyempre, alamin muna natin ano yung mga pretext, ano yung mga threats, and then think before you click, think before you share, think before you connect, think before you download. Ayun lamang po. Thank you.